his butt.
Wait a minute, Doc.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Hold up just a minute. This is Chase, and I'm with special guest Blair Perry with another short episode right off the heels of The Brave Little Toaster. Blair, how did we do on The Brave Little Toaster?
I felt great about it. It was so fun to rewatch. I'm an external processor, so I really analyze things as they're coming out of my mouth, which might not be the best for a podcast. I don't tend to think ahead.
This one's fine.
Great. And listening back to our episode, I felt like you had a lot of points that I didn't think of. All three of you really identified a lot of metaphors that I was enlightened by. I thought, wow, there's way more to this movie than I even realized. So I had a great time.
This is the first time in human history someone has said that they've been enlightened by Andrew and Kyle.
That's probably true.
So
wow.
They're going to be so excited.
Should I take it back? I should probably retract that statement.
We can edit it out later. Well, today we're talking about the art of performance. You're a performer. You have a long history of performing. So I kind of want to dive into that subject. I know it's music and we have a film podcast. It's a little different, but I feel like there's some similarities. And who better to tell us about the similarities than you?
Yep, that's right. I know all the things.
So I want to talk a little bit about how you got your start performing. Talk a little bit about what you started doing at a young age that got you performing.
Well, I grew up going to church with my mom on Sundays at the First United Methodist Church in Northeast Alabama. And I did a lot of performing there. That was where I did all of my performing for my first several years. I had my first solo when I was 3 in the Christmas play. And I, in the middle of my solo, forgot the words, which is now where my fear of forgetting lyrics comes from. I still think back to that moment and how horrified I was. Not that anybody cared at all. I was literally just a 3-year-old wearing a giant Christmas tree cut out.
Have you forgotten lyrics recently?
Yeah, I still forget them all the time, honestly, but that's just because I'm performing a lot more now, and so there's a lot more opportunities. But I'm finally kind of over it. If I forget lyrics, it's not the end of the world. But for a while, I was pretty horrified that it was going to happen again for years. So a lot of singing at church. I got the opportunity to sing at my school, at my elementary school, a few times in talent shows. I performed we would have, I don't even remember what they were, but the whole school would be getting together for some reason, some sort of assembly, and I would sing. I was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz in the 5th grade at the school. I grew up in a really small town in Northeast Alabama called Center, Alabama. And
With an E.
With an E, R-E. It's spelled, they changed it in the 60s. It used to be Center, C-E-N-T-E-R, because it was in the center of the county. And in the 60s, we decided to get fancy and make it all British.
That's just tax evasion for small town counties like that. They have to change it so no one will come find them.
So I did most of my performing just within my little community. But then I auditioned for Dorothy in the role of the Wizard of Oz in a Gadsden, Alabama production, which at the time was a big deal. Looking back, it's hilarious because Gadsden's not a big city by any stretch of the imagination, but it was the town where we would go out to eat. Like if you were going to go to a fancy restaurant, and by fancy, I do mean Red Lobster or Ruby Tuesday.
Biscuits are good though.
Oh my gosh, they were delicious. My parents would get the salads called the shrimp vinaigrette, and it was a vinaigrette that had these tiny, tiny, just above microscopic shrimp. And I thought it was the fanciest thing. And it was only in my late 20s when I really kind of reflected back and thought, oh my gosh, that was not a fancy restaurant that I really thought it was. We would have to wait for like 2 hours sometimes. But anyway, that was also where we would go to the mall because there was really nowhere to shop where I grew up. So that was the next biggest city. And I got cast as the Wizard of Oz. And I remember I was nervous the whole time thinking I'm not really good enough to be here or do this. I'm not quite sure why they cast me. At one point, they gave me an acting coach. It was just an older girl, maybe in high school. And I didn't think anything about it at the time. I just remember her kind of working with me on some of my lines. And then later I realized, oh my gosh, they realized after they cast me that I really wasn't good enough, or not good enough. I wasn't that great. And so they needed somebody to teach me how to act because I had never been trained on how to act. And this was, even though it was still kind of a small theater, we had crowds of almost 200 people some nights that would come to see us. So, but that was
Big
probably
time.
yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was big because at the end of the performances, I would have little kids. At this time, I was, 11? Maybe 12. And I would have little girls come up to me to ask for my autograph after shows. And I remember thinking, this is the best thing in the world. Like, this is like, it doesn't get better than this.
I mean, that's an achievement because think about how many people have never been asked for their autograph other than like when they're signing like checks or like signing warrants or something like that. So, like,
It was pretty cool. That was one of the biggest things that had happened to me as far as performing at that time. And I had some setbacks after that kind of made me think maybe I'm not meant to be a performer. And since then I've gotten over it, but.
okay. So performing at such a young age and doing these different, like you did theater, you did music. Was there any point in time where it was just like, it felt like it was just easy? Like that it was kind of natural that you didn't have to really work for it?
Yeah, it was easy in that I didn't really get trained on how to do any of these things. My dad could sing, but he wasn't a singer. He was in a band when I was really young and before I was born, but he can sing, but he wasn't trained, didn't know how to train me. So it was easy in that I was able to sing, I could hit notes. I didn't have to work at hitting the notes. Like I remember one time a woman after a church performance saying, "That was amazing. You hit all the notes. Like you weren't flat or sharp on any of them." And I remember thinking, yeah, like I know I can sing. Like that is the moment where I kind of realized, oh, I guess that's not the case for everybody. It's hard for people to find the note. That's one thing I've never struggled with. My range has always been a little bit of a problem. There's some other just insecurities in there. So I think there's parts of it that are easy. The parts of it that were hard, I've always struggled with being shy on stage, and I would be horrifically nervous before every single solo. Every time I would get on stage at church, I would just feel so nervous. And I remember begging my parents, why do I have to sing? Can I please not sing this Sunday? Can I please not sing at this event? I'm so nervous. And she would always say, please, like everybody wants to hear you. It's going to be fine. And I would always do it, and I would realize it was fine. But it was definitely into my early 30s that I was extremely nervous before every single performance. I've just recently gotten over that.
The reason I asked that question is because I don't think it's something that come natural to a lot of people. Not many people can get on stage and do whatever, even if they're trained. We have a show on movies and film, so we talk about acting. And I feel like it's in that same vein as a musician. Not everybody can just get up and do it, trained or not. And it's why we ridicule them on this podcast. 3 individuals that have no talent at all to do any of that, but that's why we have the talent to do this podcast. So what goes into a good performer, whether it's on stage, it's in film, or in music, from being natural to being great? What goes into being a great performer?
I think a big part of it is being able to think about your audience. You're a writer. When you're writing, you're thinking about your audience. Who is going to be reading what you're writing? And as a performer, it's even easier because you often know who it's going to be. And even if you don't, once you're there, you know who it is. You know how many people it is. It's about tapping into what they want to hear, what they want to see, or what's going to move them. It's also just an awareness of your own body, of your own voice, and kind of knowing when you're moving on stage, trying to make sure that you're connecting with the audience. Even though it's a performance, you're putting on a show for them, you have to involve them somehow. Especially as the lead singer of a cover band, a rock cover band, it's really important because they're not there to hear all the great new songs that you have written. They're there to have a good time and feel something or release. But at the end of the day, everybody comes to see a performance to be moved in some way. So
it's an escape, right?
Yeah.
in some way or another. Like they're looking to lose themselves in the piece of work or piece of art.
Definitely.
What do you think makes like performing an art?
That's a great question. I don't know if I'm going to have a good answer for that question. What makes it an art? I guess art is you are taking what is in your own heart, your own soul, your own mind, and you are manifesting it somehow, whether that is manifesting it visually, auditorily, whether you're, putting it on paper. You are taking what you feel and you're showcasing it. You're manifesting it and transferring it to other people. So you might say there could be a sliding scale of a little bit of art to the most artistic thing. I don't know if anybody thinks of it that way. I have a friend that always wants to talk about what is art. And if you're copying a picture, but you're still doing it yourself, is that still art? If you're making a copy of, is it still art? So I don't know. But yeah, in general, I would say it's just you putting what you think and feel and manifesting it.
Couldn't have said it better. What is art is you probably need 6 or 8 episodes on that. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready to get that deep.
Yeah, because art is subject to whoever's looking at it.
Right.
Some people deem stuff as, like, some people don't even think about film as art, or they think it's like kind of lowbrow.
Right. Or depending on what it is, like there's certain films that are art.
Terrifier's art.
Terrifier's definitely art. Are you joking?
And there's so many people that are going to disagree with that.
I saw a big fancy truck that had a Terrifier, like a big Terrifier sticker on the back window of the cab. And I normally would have seen it and thought, oh my gosh, I love Terrifier. So I would have been like, that's great. That's amazing. But then there's a part of me that thought, I love Terrifier, but I would never put a sticker of it on my car. I don't know. There's something
were
about
you thinking
it.
about like putting it on the wall, like at home, like it was just going to go there instead? Like, I wouldn't put it on my truck, but I would put it on my bedroom
I don't
wall.
want, it's like, I love it, but I don't necessarily want everyone to know that I love it. And here's the other thing is I didn't see it until after this guy had honked and like zoomed around a line of cars. So he was acting like a jerk. And then I saw it and then I thought, ugh, he's given Terrifier a bad name. And then I thought, wait, Terrifier gives itself a bad name.
Murdering children. Yeah.
Then I had to like reflect on my own morals and.
So I asked George this question. I think it'd be fun in this situation. So I asked him on the wrestling episode if he would do his Mount Rushmore.
Oh no.
Of wrestlers. I think right now it'd be a great opportunity to find your 4 favorite performers. And I'm going to throw some ground rules here. It doesn't have to be just music. I know you're in the music world.
Performance, though.
Performance, period. It could be acting. It could be stage. And I really want to go a little deeper. I don't want to just say like random great performers, but people that have influenced you. It could be somebody that everyone else is like, oh, I don't think of that person as a great performer, but it could have hit you in a certain way. And I'll do one too. We'll trade back and forth, and that way it'll give you a little bit more time to think in between.
To think of, I'm so bad at thinking of nouns, proper nouns. Oh my goodness. Okay, I once forgot my own aunt's name because I was under pressure. Okay, I'm gonna think of names. Yeah. Okay, and I have 2 aunt Jennifers too. Okay. All right. Okay. So the first one I have to say is Elton John, because performer in all aspects. He was one of my favorite artists when I was a little kid. Some of the first songs I learned to play on piano and sing at the same time were Elton John songs. I listened to him a ton growing up, and I love just everything about his artistry, the way he dresses, his whole aesthetic, and I love the timbre of his voice. I also connect with him because I also can't write lyrics. I can only write music, so I need a Bernie Taupin like he had, because he did not write lyrics. So I connect with him. People still respect him as an artist, despite the fact that he didn't write any of his own lyrics.
Hey, most people these days don't even write their own lyrics.
I guess that's true.
There's 12 people writing one song now. It's very
That's true.
Very crazy.
So definitely Elton John continues to impact me. I've seen him twice and just cried like a baby at the beginning of the last one, just uncontrollably. So yeah, are you gonna go next? Are we gonna go one?
Yeah, I'll go next. So, one, to think outside the box a little bit, I think about Robin Williams' performance in The Birdcage. That's one of those performances that he really brings a lot of life to that character and a lot of different nuances if you follow that movie, where he's kind of this jerk to his partner for reasons that are selfish, and he's able to like overcome those selfish reasons at times to put not only himself first, but like his lifestyle that a lot of people look down on. He really brings his character into like something that you could feel and you can believe it could be you at any point in time. So that was one of my favorite movies of all time. And with him in that performance, it always sticks with me.
Okay.
So that's one, thinking from a film perspective.
I'm going to say something really embarrassing because I teach social studies. We're coming up with 4. This is 4 people, right? 4, not 5.
Yeah,
there are 4.
yeah.
There are 4 men on Mount Rushmore.
I was like, how many people are you teaching?
I'm coming up with. I'm like in my
Think
head. I'm
about a
going
classroom of
Washington.
4
I'm like,
people.
all right. Okay, so that just helps me to kind of narrow it down. This is going to be really hard. Okay, I don't want to put too many men in there because there's only 4, and even 50% would be. But I'm going to go out of order. I was going to try to go in order of like how at the time of my life when I was impacted.
Mount
by this
Rushmore
person.
is not in an order.
You are
so.
correct. You're correct. I don't think so. Anyway. I'm now realizing
order
that I
of
don't
what?
know enough about Mount Rushmore. How old they, like when they lived, time, in order of anything. I don't know. What are
There's no order to
I've
Mount.
got to
They
go
just,
do
they,
some
they
research
just
after this.
chiseled a bunch of white men into the side of a mountain.
Fair. Okay, I'm going to go with. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. I should have known that you were going to do this to me, and I should have thought ahead.
Well, that's why I didn't tell you.
Oh my goodness.
Do you want me to go again?
Okay, my next one is Brandi Carlile.
That's a good one.
She's got such an incredible, just an incredible voice, a range that is just insane. She's such a brilliant lyricist, such a brilliant songwriter. When I heard the story for the first time, and there's a part in it, that the kind of the most famous part of that song where her voice breaks while she's singing, it's just unbelievable, and it made me cry. And I just thought she's so good at putting emotion into her voice. So I didn't even know what she looked like for years because I didn't have an album like where I could see what she looked like. I didn't have the internet reliably to look up pictures of her. She was able to perform just through her voice, and she's just really incredible. And I've read the book that she wrote, her autobiography, and it's phenomenal too. And funny, she has a relationship with Elton John. They're close, and she talks about him in her book, and they've written songs together and performed songs together. So I'm going to put her on my Mount Rushmore.
That's very fair. That's a good one. I love Brandi Carlile. I would have to say, like, I do want to put a musician there. I don't want to go just straight acting at this point. We're not trying to segregate our Mount Rushmores here. So this is one that probably the audience is not going to know. I hope they do, but I don't think they will. You will, but like I'll always like want to put Sammy Ray in that conversation because of, you just go see her live, everybody. She's touring now, so go find tickets, turn this off, and immediately go to wherever you get your tickets and
more important.
Find Sammy Ray. If she's even within an 8-hour drive there. Find her. She's great.
Sammy Ray. Ray is spelled R-A-E.
And The Friends. One of the best. I guess you could classify her as new. Newish.
She's newish.
They have one full album out. They don't even. Then the rest are EPs. But for the last 8 years, finding someone like her and seeing her live is pretty special. I feel like she has that drive to really connect to the audience, and she makes you feel like no matter where you're sitting in that entire auditorium, she's singing to you.
Yes,
specifically.
Definitely. She's got that. I didn't think I was going to bring up T-Swizz in this podcast, but Taylor Swift is sort of known for being the best at that. But Sammy Ray does that she has a different energy and a different aura about her, but she is, I think, as good at making the audience feel like they're a part of her family.
Incredible voice, too.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, so incredible. She's great. So great. Now I can't put her on my Mount Rushmore.
You can. We can double up.
Thanks. No. We
can double up on Mount Rushmore. I don't think you were going to
copycat you. Who do you think I am?
So we're on to your third. So who's your third on your Mount Rushmore?
Okay, so I feel like I'm going to need to go with, I think I'm going to have to go with Adele, because she was one of those artists that I heard and was just enamored by her voice. She had one of those voices that I have so much respect for, voices that I just know there's just no way I can ever sound. I mean, nobody sounds just like anybody. Everybody's got a unique voice, but she's absolutely phenomenal. And her songs always speak to me, almost all of them. They're really meaningful. She's another one that is able to put so much emotion into her voice and her songs and I've never seen her live. I would love to, but I've watched lots of videos of her performing, and she doesn't do much. I mean, she doesn't move around like me. I move around like crazy. I'm kind of an actress first, so I kind of act as I'm singing. She does all of her acting just with her vocal cords and with her like face, and barely even that. It's just all with her.
That's a good catch too. When you think of performance, you think of someone doing a spectacle of sorts. Like you almost see it like as a circus, which I think that's where a lot of the performing arts had like evolved from, is just, flying around, doing acrobats, or like that one lady with 16 toes, whatever, in the corner.
Okay. Well, I mean, even Elton John, he has an incredible voice and is an incredible songwriter, but he's dressing up in crazy outfits and standing up playing piano and running across the stage in a sequin Dodgers outfit, and he's more of a spectacle performer.
I love the spectacle.
Me too. I feel more like that myself, so I guess I have a lot of respect for performers that are able to do so much by physically doing so little.
Very less, yeah. No, I mean it's very impressive, and it's a good thing you bring that up, because you don't often think about like a musician putting on a performance with their vocal cords. You think about like them running around, or them playing 6 guitars at once, or setting the stage on fire and jumping over it, and like. Or at least I do. Maybe I'm outing myself here in front of everybody. My next one comes from my mom, if she's listening. She's not. But if she was listening, I have to say Goldie Hawn.
Okay.
I watched a lot of her movies growing up, and she has this just charm about her when she's in a scene where she just kind of like captivates you. I don't know. It's just like when she's in a scene, that's the only person you're looking at. And it's always felt that way to me. Like she just kind of steals the show all the time. And in a time too where women didn't get the opportunity to steal the show. And she was in movies with a lot of big time actors, but she's always been able to rise above them, except for Meryl Streep in Death Becomes Her, where it was just them rivaling each other the whole time. Poor Bruce Willis.
It's funny because I'm considering putting Meryl Streep in mine, but
that's it.
Since you've already brought her up, I'll choose someone else. Thank you. That makes it easier for me.
So Goldie Hawn is my third. So my Mount Rushmore is almost done. Yours is going to be done after this one. Are you excited?
Oh my gosh. It's so hard. Only 4. Okay. I think I've thought of somebody. I'm trying to change it up a little bit, because I'm thinking Elton John is the one I was certain about. The other 2, I don't identify with being like them. I feel like in my performance, I'm not as much like them. And I was trying to think of someone that I've seen a lot performing in different ways.
Well, I'll
in
ask
different
this too.
Places.
Like, was there anybody that you saw in concert performing because you talk about Bruce Hornsby and seeing him, but was there anybody out there like that you saw performing that when you were young, you were like, that's what I want to do?
I mean, not
enough to put on a Rushmore.
not anybody specifically. I didn't go to a lot of shows when I was really little. I went to a lot of musicals, but I knew that I didn't have that kind of voice to be in musicals. Like I saw Bernadette Peters in Annie Get Your Gun when I was 8, and I was one of Annie's siblings in Annie Get Your Gun in one of my local high school shows. And we went to see them, and I heard her sing, and I just remember thinking, that's not me. I love acting. I loved being in musicals in high school, attempted to be in them in college. And the people there were basically like, yeah, you don't, that's not your voice. I'm not saying I don't have a good voice or I'm not a good performer.
It's a different style.
It's a different style there's only certain roles that I'd be able to play, and there would not be.
You don't see
many.
Axl Rose out there in Broadway plays.
He
or
definitely
anything.
could be. Are you joking? No, he
he's
couldn't. He would
not at all.
I think he would fight way too many audience members. Just
He's
like,
already
hey.
fighting audience members. He's just gotten too old now to do it.
Imagine. Oh my gosh. So my last one, I know who it's going to be. It's Maya Rudolph.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've been watching her on SNL. You know, the whole time she was on SNL, I've been watching SNL for my entire life. And Maya Rudolph was someone that I could identify with in that she has a phenomenal voice. She has a really great voice, but it's not her main thing. Her main thing was she was on SNL, so she was funny. So she could act, she could do voices, which I like to do. Just with my friend group and just in front of my students, I put on my own little sketches and do little bits with them because they're captive audience members.
Are you better than Kyle?
At
Just doing little voices.
absolutely not. Are you joking? Did you hear me attempting to? I didn't even attempt to do the lamp because not Lampy the lamp, but the hey, I can't do it. I can't do it at all. I can't think of. But he's the one that sounded like Igor.
Yeah, Igor.
They told me it was Igor.
No,
they were wrong,
Igor is
then
something
what,
you get
got
at IKEA. Maya Rudolph finishes out your Mount
That's
Rush.
right. So she has a great voice. I feel like our voices are similar. Like she kind of has that low, like kind of gravelly.
You're about to do a Shakira impression. Yeah.
So I love Maya Rudolph. She's been in a lot of movies. I mean, Mean Girls, for heaven's sake. She's Sisters. So I think she's hilarious. I love her voice. I love the impressions that she does. And I just feel like I'm kind of silly. I'm not a serious
She's over
performer.
here like shaking the entire time she's doing it. It's like hip shaking.
Me?
Yeah, you're over here shaking every time you talk about Maya Rudolph.
That's right. I just can't. I just can't. I just can't help it. I love her so much.
For my fourth one, I thought for sure when we started talking, I was like, oh, Nathan Lane's going to be my fourth. But the more we were talking about this, and I think it's more or less like stuff you've opened up, I am not a huge fan of her music to start this.
Okay.
It's not that I don't
I wish I could guess.
You can try to guess.
You're not a big fan.
I'm not a big fan.
Oh my gosh, are you going to say Celine Dion?
No. No.
I was like, how dare you?
No. So
She's going to come sue your podcast.
this isn't me saying I hate her music and I won't listen to her music. This is me saying it's just not been like something I wanted to listen to as much. But then I saw her in concert, and it was one of the best concerts I've ever seen, and it was Lady Gaga.
I almost said Lady Gaga.
That was an experience. That was like an out-of-body experience kind of show.
She's a phenomenal performer.
And that's all I got to say. It's truly like if she starts touring again, people need to go see it. Because you came to 6 cities last time. And
Oh, that's it?
yeah, we were lucky to have it in Atlanta. So she was...
We're so lucky. We have so much good music here.
And she was singing in Truist Park, which doesn't have the best like audio and sound design. And she just absolutely crushed it. It was incredible. So that would finish off my Mount Rushmore.
That's a great one. And now she's performing as an actress.
And Nathan Lane, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Like I really thought that you were going to be there at the end.
He's not listening.
Yeah, I can replace you with Robin Williams though.
Wow.
Maybe not.
Wow.
It's hard to throw Nathan Lane to the gutters.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, we were only allowed to pick 4. I mean, for heaven's sake, there's so many incredible performers that I left out.
So before we wrap this up too, like the reason I asked that too, and you brought up kind of the point that I was going to get to on this. So you just did your Mount Rushmore. I want to talk a little bit about how hard it's been for women in the performing arts. And as a woman in the performing arts, do you ever feel like it's been kind of a struggle for you?
For me, really, the only thing that I've had struggles with in the performing arts is just I just can't get out of my own way. It's mostly just been me. So yes, some of it might be related to me feeling like kind of an inferiority complex. I get that. What do they call it? The imposter syndrome. I have a lot of friends that are girls and guys, but I do feel like I tend to talk with my girl friends about imposter syndrome way more than my guy friends. So you all might experience this just as much, but I just know that I'm going to speak for all of us women.
Be the leader.
This is very dangerous.
I do want to say that, like, yes, guys do deal with imposter syndrome. We're just kind of too dumb to like let it bother us.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know if that's related to being a woman, like I said, but that's something that I've dealt with a lot. The only other thing is just that I literally I dealt with this weekend when I did a show, is there's something about just the aesthetic of women performing. How do we dress? Every decision that we make regarding dress is going to be judged more harshly than men, period. Men have more leeway, more options, more, we can be fancier, but everything seems to be judged. I'm in a band where I'm the only woman, and unfortunately I would love to have an all-female band. But the guys that I perform with literally wear t-shirts and jeans, and nobody cares. My bass player wears cargo pants and suspenders. He's not an old man. He's only 49 years old, and he wears suspenders, and nobody cares.
Kind of looks like he's going to a yard sale instead of a concert.
Right, yes, exactly. And then I think, you know what? I could dress like that. When I started...
Suspenders and cargo.
I could wear cargo pants and suspenders, but that would be a choice. They'd be like, she made a choice. And everybody would start thinking like all these things about me, like, oh, she must be this, she must be this. But with a guy, it's like, oh, he's just like cool and chill and doesn't care. And I just feel like I'd be way more judged. And so then with my old band, I wore jeans, like black jeans with holes in them sometimes, and cut off band t-shirts. Like that's what I wore, and black boots. That's what I wore to every show. And I thought, I want it to be, this is my look. And it's like a rock look. I kind of want to dress kind of like a guy, but the girl version, because I didn't want people to, I don't know. I'm always in my head about it.
But you're proving the point, though. I mean, even you going through this motion is proving the point of like, it's something as simple as just what you wear on stage every weekend.
I have to think about it way more. And then I joined my new band, and we're Material Girl. And you can follow us, Material Girl Atlanta, on Instagram.
There'll be
Facebook.
plenty of time for plugging later.
A little pre-plug. So I thought, okay, now we're doing 80s. It's a little bit higher energy. I'm doing Madonna songs. I'm doing more girl songs. I need to amp it up. And I started watching other female performers that I know and thinking, I've got to take it up a notch. And now I've reached a point where I'm like, is it too much? Am I dressing too sexy? Is wearing things that are too short? Are there people, and I'll have people come up to me at the end of a show and say, just literally tell me that I look good. And they won't say anything about the performance. They won't say anything about my voice, which is, whatever. It's to be expected, but it's just like something I'm constantly like, is it too much? So I have to think about it a lot.
Does it ever like, I mean, how does that make you feel? Like where you're there to perform and it's the sexualization of like what you said earlier, there's something about a woman performer, right? Like where it's kind of like,
I mean, I could go back to wearing what I was wearing with my old band and that would happen less. It would probably still happen, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's just a balance of like, I know I'm never surprised by it. It's just something that I just have to kind of brush off. I had an older man. This was back when I'm with my old band, when I wasn't even wearing like skirts and stuff. I was mostly just wearing like jeans and t-shirts. And he said, I have some advice for you. And let me tell you, I'm going to give you just a visual of like this bar. You walk in, you're hit by just the thickest cloud of cigarette
this Timbers?
smoke. No, it's not Timbers. It's not Timbers. We're talking on the other side of Atlanta. We're talking the east side. We're in Gwinnett County. It's the diviest bar that's ever dived. Like, it's a super dive bar. But this old man comes up to me and is like, let me give you some advice. So I'm just like prepping myself. Like, can't wait to hear what it is. And he says, never let an audience see you wear the same thing twice. And I just thought, at the time, I was like, of all the things that I am trying to keep in my head at all given time, I'm trying to remember the lyrics to 34 songs that rotate every 3 or 4 shows. I'm thinking about, am I hitting the notes correctly? I'm thinking about, when should I go in? And now I have to, and I'm a teacher. I don't make enough money to have a wardrobe. My closet won't physically fit enough. So I just remember thinking that. And then afterwards, I just kept thinking about it. And I've still kept that in my head this whole time, thinking maybe there's something to be said about that. And then, but that's just another example of me having to overthink everything. Like, now I'm having to think about, I have to change my outfit every single show.
I mean, I think that's a perfect answer to the question, because it is a little insight into, you didn't even mention the prep of practicing, warming up your vocals, all this other things, or like what you're going to do in your performance. But it's just like something that society has put a hold on women is dress. It's been a thing since long time ago, and it still persists, and it still it makes the performance a lot harder, because you're thinking about so many other barriers too, that, like you said, Warren could go out there and wear a barrel with some straps on it.
Oh my gosh, people would love that.
Yeah, exactly. And if you did that, God knows what would happen. But
there would be arrests made. No, but there's 2 sides to every coin. That's the one side. The other side is, it is fun. I have a lot of options for things I can wear. If I can just ignore the commentary from the creepy, sleazy guys, like the women, I love when I have some women come to one of my shows and they just say, oh, girl, look at your tights. Oh my gosh, that top, look at you. Or, I love when they'll come dressed as Madonna. I've had women come dress up in their own like 80s get up to my shows, and I just absolutely love that. So there's the other side of it is, it's really fun. It's part of the performance. Aesthetic is important. So I try to focus on that part of it, and just it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the key questions to the art of performance is, do you have any advice for anybody out there that like maybe is nervous about performing wherever that may be? Like if they're performing in music or film or theater, or even somebody who's just giving a speech at work on like a quarterly report.
Those can be so nerve-wracking.
Those are worse. That's the hardest performance
it's definitely
ever.
Harder. I tell people this all the time. Go out and do karaoke. Even if you're just singing karaoke with your friends, kind of work your way up. Performing is so liberating and so fun. And I know some people say, well, that's easy for you to say. You have a good voice. But the more I've done it, the less nervous I've gotten. I now don't really feel that nervous before shows. I get more excited. It's like more of a 70-30 excitement nervousness than it used to be the opposite.
Yeah, and performance is like what we said. It's not just being a musician. It's not about performance is an everyday thing for some people that have to go to work and put on a brave face.
Yeah, right. Some people, they're literally performing in their everyday lives, just going to work. Like they have to pretend like you're feeling. You have to pretend like you care and pretend like you're happy, and we don't always feel that way. We're having to do that constantly. So, everybody's a performer. Just like everybody's an artist. We all truly are.
So before we get out of here, what's your favorite part of performance?
My favorite part is truly when I have people that tell me after a show or send me a message after a show that's like, I had a really hard week. I've been having a really hard time. I needed that. I had so much fun. I've had people just write me messages saying, that's the most fun I've had in a long time. We just had a blast. Like that's my favorite part about it, because then you know that you're accomplishing the goal. I can feel great about a performance all day long. I can feel shitty about a performance and feel like I did not do my best. And if I have somebody that talks to me at the end and says, I had so much fun. This is the most fun I've had. I haven't gone out in a long time, and this was so awesome. I loved dancing. Then I accomplished the goal. It doesn't matter how I felt about it, because at the end of the day, performance it can be for yourself, and it is very meaningful for you, but you're manifesting it. You're sharing what's inside you with a group of people or with other human beings. And to me, that's the best part about it, is just the connection with other people.
Well said. Well, she did such a great job. We had to bring her back on 2 episodes. So,
oh my gosh, stop.
So Blair, tell all the people out there, all 14 million people that listen to this podcast, where they can find you, what you got going on, where you're going to be next. Let them know. This is your time to shine.
All right. I know I gave a little pre-plug. I don't know. I'm so sorry about that pre-plug. Sorry, not sorry.
I thought about just cutting you off after that and just like ending the episode.
So I am the lead singer for Material Girl. You can find us at Material Girl Atlanta. We are a very high energy rock pop cover band. We do some pop songs, but they're rocked up versions. So a lot of women songs, a lot of men songs too. I got a very low voice. You should come check us out. We play at places like Dixie Tavern, Gustin's Woodstock. We play all around the town. So you could check us out on Material Girl Atlanta on Instagram and Facebook. And then I do some solo shows. Dorothy Blair Music is where you can follow me for those shows. I play piano and sing a lot of times at the Marietta Wine Market. And you should follow us to see where my band's going to be next.
Well said. Well, we appreciate Blair being on back-to-back episodes, bringing the best movie that Hold Up has watched to date.
I'm still waiting on my reward, my trophy.
Well, when Patreon kicks in and people start donating, then we'll get that to you.
I'll be waiting.
As always, this is Chase from the Hold Up Podcast. Follow us on Instagram to find out what we're doing next. Thank you so much, Blair. Hopefully, we'll see you again next time.